but it is time to cook.
Just chomping at the bit to get out that line.
Oregon, which is in one of the boxes nearest to us, boy, they were ready. You saw Simon Birnbaum, the goggles, unmistakable. It's foggy and cloudy. Dude's still wearing his sunglasses when he comes through.
Future's so bright.
Also in Oregon, I got to mention that Connor Burns is here, and he is a Columbia kid and ran at Southern Boone, Ashland, just minutes away from here on this course, so he's back home with the Ducks. Hopefully he's got something inspired for him, but it's cool when kids get to come back and run a national championship in their hometown.
Absolutely, and it pains me to say it as a Stanford guy, but Oregon, a little underrated, I think. I think they have a very strong team, and they could potentially podium.
It is that Big Ten ACC feud that goes back so long between those two schools.
Absolutely.
Gary Martin out in front. Easy to see with those glasses. There's Birnbaum, see, unmistakable. And Connor Burns right behind him, but he's got goggles ready to go. Yeah, Oregon, they could, listen, Jerry Schumacher knows how to coach runners.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they've got some guys who, like Aiden Smith, who was an All-American last year, are more suited for 10K. They're out hot at the front though. We can see those. They were a little eager there in the first few hundred meters. So I think they got to settle down and yeah, just get calm and find their rhythm. So
I said, you know, the women's race 262. The men are one shy because Georgia's here. Adam Tribble, what a great team with 6 dudes. Right, they've got some, and this isn't just a roster limit thing because the SEC has limited their cross-country teams to 10. But he's just got 6 guys that are really good.
And he's got to make sure they're firing at the right time. I mean, with only 6, you do not have any room for error. And you know, obviously, he's done a really good job getting them here healthy, no illness, no injury.
Coach, my hammy's tight and I got a side switch. And
can't do anything about it. Get out there.
And we'll talk about it on the bus home.
Yep.
So I think this is a very surprising start to this race. Rocky Hansen, who's sort of in the middle of your screen in the black there.
871.
He's someone we would expect to see at the front, and pretty much none of the other faces are guys we'd expect to see. So I think Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Samuel, clearly they are all sort of like looking around at each other and being like, well, which one of you is going to take it up? So I think it's going to take this race some time to find its footing and to really find a leader.
How is the footing? What's the place look like to you, right? From what you can garner from your monitor?
From what we saw in the women's race, I don't actually think the footing is much of a problem. I think it's an extremely fair, extremely fun course out there.
I mean, I thought we'd see more mud on the legs and on the shoes, and they really looked pretty clean. So, but it's chilly. I mean, you know, it's definitely, they seem fine, the runners seem fine, but us standing around here, people are in hats and in gloves, and you know, it's chilly.
So it still overall looks like a fast first K because of how hard they got out, under 245. You know, it's 420 mile pace or so. But they've put the brakes on, and I think everyone's kind of like, I thought that Samuel would be leading this. I thought that Evans Crewery would be leading this. I thought someone else besides me would be leading it. So I think that this race is. This is like, you know, track stuff right here.
Tavon Kitchen goes. You can say I went out and I was leading the NCAA championship race. The freshman from BYU, 243. They took him through the first K. Saw a couple of Arkansas Razorbacks in there. Brian Masai, Timothy Chesedin, is Chris Bucknam, a longtime coach at Arkansas. His last cross-country meet, his last championship. There they are right there. There's the familiar hog out front, and there's Connor Burns going to the front as well.
And Oregon, we mentioned that they got out hard. They're leading this race by a wide margin at 64 points. I would say that you can see the difference between first and 250 whatever on your screen, and it's not a lot of seconds. So scores don't matter a ton at this point. But I do think that if this race goes slow for a while, it puts Oregon in a great position to try to defend and still finish on the podium. But yeah, honestly, I don't know if I can recall seeing an NCAA cross-country race go like this. There's usually somebody that wants to do something stupid in the first one.
Note, things are fluid as you come through. Like, yeah, 1K is good, but you want to be 1-0K. When you get to the other 9 will sort this thing out. Another great drone shot of that pack that comes through. They didn't have drone shots when you guys were running either, did they?
No, they didn't. Stop bringing that up.
Listen, you were in color. It's fine. It's not that insulting. Go out front. I think when you look up there, that is Habtom Samuel, and he's got the backwards hat on. Is that who I think that's how you can pick him out?
Yep, I think we saw him with that at the start line. Not sure if he took it off.
Okay. There again, there are the Hogs. I didn't want to finish that up. Chris Bucknam been there almost 20 years at Arkansas. Took over for John McDonnell. Boy, tell you what a tough chore that is. 34 SEC titles, a couple of national championships indoor, a handful of podiums here in cross country, and Buck coaching his last race, and wish him well. He's going to just go get on a boat and sail around out by Boston and stuff.
Things. Yeah. But, you know, I'm really surprised to see Habtom Samuel back where he is. I thought he'd be a little bit up a little closer to the front. He still has plenty of time, but he said yesterday in that press conference, you could really hear how he did not want to get into trouble. You know, last year he lost his shoe. You talked about him falling in races. Now he's moving up. He's just getting back into the front now where he wants to be, out of some of that company that could potentially cause some issues.
So I look at this pack and it's wonderful. And if we go back to that wide shot, the people are like ants as they're trying to get from viewing spot to viewing spot out here.
It's
and the thing is, you don't need it because they come around. Just stand where you are. They just went through 2K. There's a 2K loop, and then they're going to do the 3K loop twice. But they'll come by you, people. But you got to get out there and yell for your folks.
You want to see as much as possible. And fans have nervous energy too, John.
Look
that they
at
got
that,
to
though.
There's Brian
all
Masao.
Together.
And what happens here when you're at the front is you come in expecting to run hard. You're so ready to go. And then you settle, and it all of a sudden becomes harder to jump out of that easy rhythm. And you don't necessarily want to be the guy that does it. But we're starting to see Brian Masao. He's in America's Brightest Orange on the right of your screen. His teammate Dennis Kippen-Gedich is on the left of your screen for Oklahoma State. Yeah. Those are their top two guys. They've both been in the top 11 the last 2 years. Tavon Kitchen, the freshman, still leading this race. We actually saw this at the Nuttycombe Invitational where he just kind of ended up leading because no one wanted to take it in the middle of the race there.
And that is Habtom Samuel. It's 7:13, got the hat, so that makes him easily identifiable. That and running up front.
Well, Yassine Abdallah had a wild haircut last year, apparently, so he could see himself on the replay. And maybe I don't know why Habtom would think the same because he's normally at the front. Yeah. Easy to pick out.
And listen, Yassine ended up there too. He was like fourth. He didn't need to go to these extravagant
I miss seeing him.
things.
He was always fun to watch. We'll watch him now as a pro, but.
Joash Ruto is right up there for in the center of that mix-up for Iowa State. Take a look at where second and third compare here in the early going.
And yeah, the scores are super tight here, and in terms of seconds, it's going to be even tighter than that, right? There's the difference between 197 points and 121 points is probably 10 seconds total between all the runners, and we haven't really started hammering yet. So I think I wouldn't put too much stock into where any one team is at this point unless they're way back. Yeah,
like I get that, marathons are way longer, but you have one of those where sometimes they run for 20 miles and then they start to race. And I feel like the first couple of K here we're running. Yeah. I don't know that we've really engaged any high power racing yet.
So looking through sort of the team roster, we got two guys up front for Oklahoma State that we talked about, Masao and Kippen-Gedich. Mesayudi is also up there, the sort of 1,500 5K star for them, and then they've got three more in the top 30. Or, sorry, I apologize for that. There are three more at about 60th.
Long way to go. This Brian Masao told me yesterday that he should win because he was the 5K champ indoor and the 5K champ outdoor, and if you put that together, that's 10K, and he should be the champ. And I'm like, dude, I love your math.
Oh, he's done so well.
I am on board with it.
I mean, I questioned him a little bit on the grass, but I don't know why. I said it early on, fifth year last year. He's done so well on the track to be able to continually get up there and to win and time again. And I know that Habtom Samuel is just chomping at the bit, wanting to get the #1 next to his name. That has got to give him quite fire today.
Well, Hoptom's a really interesting guy tactically. He's the #2 all-time collegiate over 10K. You think that should be a guy that wants to go to the front and just hammer. But it's never really been his style. He'll go to the front, but he almost races like a cyclist where he attacks and he wants to get a break, and when he doesn't get it, he backs off.
Then he backs off.
And he loves that move with 1,000 meters to go. But his coach, Derek Austin, was talking about wanting him to push the pace, wanting him to follow through on that move. And I think Hoptom's racing the way he wants to race today.
Well, we talked a lot about Jane Hendren on the women's side for BYU, but Tavion Kitchen has had some great success too as a high school runner. I mean, he really is one that, 10,000 meters is a lot longer than what we run in high school. We run 5,000 meters in high school, but he is a solid athlete, and we know that name, so not surprising to see him up there.
They're the people sprinting around trying to get in the ear of their folks. Gary Martin just kind of cruising along as well.
Gary has a 3:48 miler, just hoping that we carry on like this for the next, until we get to about 9.6K, and then he'll be good to go.
He's looking, when he look around, he's actually just to see if Parker Wolf is there or Ethan Strand, right? He's running with some of those guys.
Yep.
He's like, well, okay, are you sure they're not here coming up somewhere? Those guys had just great battles there in the ACC and indoor in that DMR, really compelling stuff. And Gary came back and won that, running the mile like for the Who's.
It's different not to have Graham Blanks out there as well.
We're going to have a new champ this year, right? I've kind of left that out. I apologize. Yeah. First off, one great first year as a pro for him, but we will have a new champ after he goes back to back.
He's had a phenomenal first year as a pro as well.
The guys assured me, though, I saw them. The Harvard guys, that the icy machine they have has been passed down. It's in good shape, and they plug it in only on special occasions.
Well, it looks like they're starting to make some moves here up front, just starting to, thin it out a little bit, but it's still the freshman in the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he can thin it out a little bit, but he's not going to be able to drop, a good portion of this lead pack. And you look at Nelson Perikin from Alabama, who's sort of in the center of your screen there, same kid as Doris Lemgole was wearing, He was only 14th at SEC, so this race is sort of all jumbled up versus what we were expecting.
Well, and at this point in the women's race, we were kind of, Doris and Jane were out ahead, and then there were a few in there. Like, we still got 40 guys in this fight right now.
And you can see Joe Ashruto there. He had just flashed across your screen from Iowa State. Their yellow, maybe gold kit, we'll say there.
Well, they went old school. That's a new one with the Scripps Cyclones. They broke that out new. Gold over the burgundy for Iowa State. Titus Kamaru, as you see, Texas Tech has got a runner up there in the top. Keep an eye on Solomon Kipchoge, who has the course record here. Now, that was only at 8K. Haven't contested 10K over this. New Mexico over 4K right now in the lead for Darren Gosson. That's one of those where do they shake out? They're a team that's waiting for their fifth runner to have to do something special if they're going to they're going to have a best finish they've ever had. I don't think that's a question, but if they're going to be on the podium or higher, that fifth runner is going to be huge. And
their fifth runner is special. He's Matthew Kosgei. He's silver medalist at the World Junior Championships over steeplechase. We just haven't seen that sort of world-class fitness that we expected in cross-country yet this season.
Kind of bookend there with Oklahoma State guys. On the right is Brian Massoud, and on the left, Fuad Masaudi.
And that's from Louisville there on your screen. That's Elsingi Kipruto. He was third at the ACC Championships behind Gary Martin and Rocky Hansen.
Just a couple of years, and Joe Franklin's got his Louisville team here on the line, so he's done some nice building there. New Mexico, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Iowa State. And you scroll through there, you see Virginia sitting in the 9th position. They came in ranked 5th. If you don't get the rankings delivered at home, Oklahoma State comes in number 1. Iowa State ranked 2nd. New Mexico, Syracuse 4th. Haven't discussed much about what's happened with the Orange. They're a champ from back in 2016. Oregon comes in ranked 6th. BYU is 8th.
And so at this pace, you don't really expect that we're getting big blow-ups or the race decided. But big news is that Sanelli Masando, I think 2-time All-American from Iowa State, he has dropped like a stone through this field. He's back in 175th. It almost makes you wonder if he fell in this tight pack, but that is a huge deal for them. He was expected to be in their top 3, and if he's not going to be a scorer, that puts them at a huge deficit relative to Oklahoma State.
And remember, that's what happened to them last year. They had a crucial fall, and that may have cost them the race.
Yeah, Joe Ashruto, they only lost by 13 points last year. He fell, lost about 80 places, and then got up and gained back 60 of them.
Is it right at 4K when he fell?
Yeah.
Come back in front of our broadcast position, and I mean, this thing still looks like a turkey trot. We got a bunch of guys in there. I love it.
But look at New Mexico. We've talked about them a little bit, but 9th is the highest they've ever been, but they've really packed up there. But Habtom Samuel is just back. I mean, he's not really up in front where we normally see him. And there's a fall over there as well. I mean, we've had a couple falls and a couple people get back up quick, which is good. But there's a lot of bodies out there.
Legel from Oregon, the Big Ten champ. Strange to say, the Big Ten champ from Oregon, but he's there on the center of your screen. And he just sort of sat on Riley Ho from Michigan State. So this sort of more sedate pace is very comfortable for him, and I think is kind of how he wants to race. See Ethan Coleman just behind him there from Notre Dame with the white arm sleeve on the right side of your screen.
I sort of feel like we're watching more like a 1,500-meter final at the Olympic Games where everybody's still there just waiting for who is going to be the one. Rocky Hansen right there sort of looks like he maybe is not so smooth, but it could just be that they're holding back enough that it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the field is still thinning out behind them. There's only a few guys in this top pack that really are, you know, trotting, so to speak. But I do think we're going to see some fireworks here in the last 5K.
So they go through 5K Oklahoma State with the team lead. Guys at 3:12, 15, 29. So basically that's that pack, and then their fifth guy in 40th. Coach Sudbury at Iowa State, he thought you're going to have all 5 of your guys inside of 30, or in 30th. So I guess that's inside the top 40 if you hope to win. Dave Smith thought that score would be higher. He thinks it still could be 100-ish.
And as an update, Masando from Iowa State. So he lost 150 places between 3 and 4K, and he gained back 50 between 4K and 5K. So
he went down.
I think we can say that he probably went down.
Again. And just if you're wondering in scoring, in the last, since 1970, if you got in the 70s, you win 50 out of 54 times. So 70s, outstanding. And 99 is one of those where some years that wins and some years that's third.
And Iowa State is almost very similar to Oregon in the women's race. They're still up there, sort of where we expect, but they're if you look into how they're scoring, it's sort of all jumbled from where we expect. So Kim Utai is their number 2 right now. He was the guy we had big question marks on. He's in the top 15. Rogers Kiplimo, a former All-American, he's struggling a little bit back in 50th, and then we've already discussed Masando, who we think had that big fall. And
you wonder to some extent, is Habtom Samuel, is he maybe trying to stay out of trouble after last year, right? The thing is, you think you're on the outside 1 minute and out of trouble, and then you make one of those turns or switchbacks, and now you're the inside guy, and the whole crowd's, you're right in the middle of all the shakeup that can cause problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the easiest way to stay out of trouble is to lead. And so I think, you know, Habtom, he's his own racer, right? He doesn't race the way you expect, and he races the way he's comfortable. And you don't, you know, he doesn't do as well, say, like 1,500 5K on the track, but he has a great burst the last K in cross country, and he clearly feels comfortable and has trust in that, and he's letting it go pretty long here with this big pack.
Razorback on the right, big tall guy, Timothy Chesden, and we talked about the vagaries of the race. Guy was 111th last year. Comes over from Akron. He's in All-American status in his first year, trying to get settled in Stillwater and train, and he's way down on the ladder.
I'm keeping my eye on Calvin Chariot. We saw him win the SECs, and he's a guy that, you know, early in the season he was way back and kind of worked his way through the crowd, and now this is something that maybe he's used to doing. But I like him. He's new. He runs, you know, very conservative up front, but he's still in that main pack as well.
So New Mexico's running really well. They're in second through 6K, only about 30 points back of Oklahoma State. Their top 4, as we expected, are all in All-American position. And then Matthew Kosgei, the guy we're keeping our eye on, that World Championship silver medalist for the junior steeplechase, he's moved up really well from over 100 up into about 60th. So if he can keep that momentum going, they can get under 100 points and be in contention for the win here.
Ooh, it's going to get fun.
Get that overhead view. You can see all of the orange jerseys of Oklahoma State.
Hansen now finding himself in the familiar position that he's been in for most of this year, leading the race by half a step.
There you look at the last, the 5th place, the final score for each team. Adasu Gaudia, the Israeli runner, 27th right now, 27 points. Matthew Kosgei. Masando for Iowa State.
So there's really not much between Oklahoma State and New Mexico through 4, and then it really just comes down to that 5th runner. Guadia is running great in the All-American position for the Cowboys.
We saw Brian Musau now finally get into the lead there just on that last tight shot that we had. And, you know, a lot of question marks, right? A lot of people were wondering what happened at regionals. I don't think anyone got a clear answer.
Well, he's still running great today, so I don't know if we're going to get a clear
there,
answer.
I believe, 17th at regionals, and you know, he is such a great name and such a great runner that I think people were wondering, is that going to be a big factor? Well, look where he's at right now.
And really, when you look at this thing right now, and the people here at the University of Missouri game might agree are not going to be happy with this, but we get to 7K, and I feel like we're in the second half of the race now, right? I almost feel like 5K obviously makes sense mathematically, but I feel like 7K, we're through that, and now we're into the second half of the race right here over this final 3K.
Yeah, so we're starting our last lap here, our last 3K lap. I keep an eye on the same hill that we saw Jane Hendegren trying to battle back up to Doris on with about a mile, a K to go. I think that is where we may see a decisive move, if we do in fact see one before the final sprint.
Habtom went by, and he looks like he's just sort of watching and letting this race unfold in front of him. He's getting into position slowly but surely, finding his way into the pack, onto the shoulders of the main players.
If I could just add this, holy shnikes, look how many dudes are still in this at 7K.
Can you do it again?
Like,
what
wow.
did you just say?
Holy shnikes.
And Gary Martin up there.
Like, this is going to be amazing.
Well, Parker Wolf now, you can see just a little bit of a grimace here and there, but he looks better. He looks almost like he's getting into his form and almost relaxing, not holding back. That's the hardest thing to do when you're racing, is to hold back and wonder what is going on around you. Now they're going to start attacking.
Hold your water, hold your water.
I think you were thinking of other ACC grade Parker Wolf there, but yeah, Rocky
Did
Hansen.
I say Parker? Rocky,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Rocky Hansen is who I meant.
You know, it's hard to keep track of all the guys in the ACC that have run faster than I did in college.
What did I say?
Parker.
Parker?
What was your best ACC finish, by the way?
Well, I've long been a partisan of the All Coast Conference, as I call it.
It's funny. All right, guys. There's Kelvin.
And Brian Musau now in the lead,
Yep.
with just a half-step lead over Rocky, and we're starting to sort of wind it up. It's not clear that anyone is sort of decided I'm taking it. They've kind of just sort of egged each other on. And in the team race through 7K, Oklahoma State's pulling away a little bit. They're up 40 points over Iowa State. Iowa State's running amazing through 4 runners.
Yeah.
And we really do think that Masando fell, but he's sort of stalled out a little bit. He gained back another 26 places between 5 and 6K, and now only up 8 over the last K. So he's up to 76 points.
I'm kind of just waiting for somebody to just, like, I've had enough of this,
Yeah.
and then off they go. But nobody's quite done that yet. Nobody has decided that they want to make that move. Look at that. You're talking about pack running. Oklahoma State, easy to identify. New Mexico, easy to identify. Always easier to run with a buddy.
And in the center of your screen there with the cougar on his chest, that's Evans Curry from Washington State. He was a guy that I would have thought would be the one to push. I've basically never seen a race where he hasn't led for at least a little bit. He's been very patient today. I believe he was an All-American in the 10K last year after being an All-American in cross country as well. So we're still 4 wide here.
Yeah, we got racing. Frederick Kipkoski, you see up there from Hofstra. So nice to have a member of the Pride flying up there.
And Oklahoma State's got to feel so good about seeing Masudi up there.
Yeah.
After his struggles last year. I mean, I think he's a 333, 334 guy on the track for 1,500 meters. And shoot, if they keep waiting, he could win this thing.
Well, John, I liked what you said Dave Smith told you about the different groups that he has, that he trains, and how he has to hold back some of his athletes to definitely get them to the point of peaking at the right time. I mean, that's kind of the game of being a coach, but he really kind of leaned into that with you.
Yeah, he's got different groups, but he's, and they've been solid the last few years, even when they were disappointing last week. Kim Ganich and Nassau are always there. We got some guys hugging the line here.
Oh, yeah.
I got a report that the Iowa State runner that went down tripped on a hay bale.
Well, there's hay bales all around that one curve, and you could really see them kind of weaving in and out.
And what they've done, right, you got to be on the other side of the hay bale,
Yeah,
though. So I'm curious to see what happens if we end up having to adjudicate something here, because, yeah, outside the hay bales is the course, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're getting close to the last mile here. We still have a huge pack of guys with Oklahoma State with 3 guys leading the race
training
right
run.
And
There's Samuel.
I was just about to say I was starting to worry about Habtom Samuel, and then he goes and does this, which is what he did at the Nutty Come Invitational a little further out.
Okay, let's maybe Let's maybe relax just a second.
Yeah, but this is not a surge, right? This is a guy going to the end here. There's a difference.
And it's a really hard move. And so what Masao, who's in second now, has to do is not panic, measure it out, try to just draw him back in slowly. And he is doing that a little bit. We'll see if it sort of stagnates out here. And if you're Samuel, you want to take every little opportunity, every little uphill to just get another couple meters and you know, kill his will, more or less.
Boy, in this half mile, that thing has thinned in a hurry.
Rocky Hanson's still there in there. If that pack can sort of work together to try to close this gap, that's really what they're going to have to do.
But this is the benefit of Samuel going so hard, is now instead of them being on his shoulder getting to feed off his energy, it's him versus them.
He's
right
just
in their
been
own
chilling.
separate races, and they have to do the work themselves to pull themselves back up. You can see John Hayes, Rocky Hanson's coach there. No one really out there on this sort of the lowest point of the course. We're about to start that long uphill where we saw that great battle between Jane and Doris. Rocky is getting up on Musao's shoulder, and he's still got it. He's got to keep the dream alive here, right?
I don't know. This is that moment with 1K to go where Habtom Samuel might be saying, I've never done this. I've never won. I've never cracked the tape. Today's my moment. I've been waiting for it. You know, the guy has done so well. How many seconds does he have? He has like 4 or 5 second place finishes in the NCAAs. This is his time to shine, and he waited patiently all day. Can he do it?
He's been second twice in this race.
Yes.
He has been second twice to Masao in the 5K. He was second to his teammate in the 10K last year. So that's a handful right there.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of the most delightful young men you'll ever meet. Like, he is just a hoot.
But he was very focused yesterday when we were talking about this race, and you can feel that he really wants this one. And he doesn't have much time, but they are still there.
And Hanson now is dropping Masao from Oklahoma State, and that gap is sort of just holding steady. I think he's got to think about running over the top of this hill, right? You don't get to the hill and say, all right, I made it up. You got to think about really taking a few hard steps, getting back up to speed, and then using this downhill to see if he can maybe have this gap as we come into the final sprint.
Kind of how that surge started on the downhill. Then he kept that pace, that intensity going up the hill. But look how hard Rocky Hanson's working to close that gap.
Gonna fly now. Did I think the Rocky, right? The Rocky theme when he comes through. 4 Oklahoma State guys right there. And you wonder at some point, if you're Oklahoma State, you do protect your position a little bit, right? You can't afford to blow up in that last 1,000 if you want to win the race. And maybe, you know, the larger point is we let him go as the risk of going and burn ourselves out and drop 50 places if you bonk.
I'm not sure Brian Masao's ever let anybody go.
Okay.
Certainly not willingly. But Rocky Hanson, he's still in this. He's just got to get another 5 meters to really feel attached to where Samuel is. And the question is it like what we saw, John, you're talking about how you're the team that makes the 20-point run and you use all your energy to get back even? Is that going to be the case if he can get back within a few meters here? Or is Samuel the one who's gone too hard?
They're into the last half mile. And Rocky giving chase.
And we're into the last 400 meters here, so they're going to make this turn, and this finish comes faster than you think.
300 meters to go, and you can see that finish line when they make that turn. This is going to be a fun last minute.
And does anyone have a new gear that they can go to once they see the finish line? Hanson looks. It looks to me like he might have given it everything he had to try to close this gap.
Well, you got to give it to him. He was the one up front. He was touching the lead. He was making the pace go.
A huge crowd here on the hill gathered to watch. Great viewing angles here. Habtom Samuel chasing the Gator, and the Demon Deeks behind him, but the guy in front, Habtom Samuel, so many second places. He's got to hang on a little bit to get home with the 2025. Careful now. Careful now. Habtom Samuel finally a national champ. 2-2-1. And a great run by
Salma Kipchoge there from Washington State, and now 3 Oklahoma State guys.
Yeah, that's an orange. You want to talk about an orange hammer? They got 2 behind them. We wondered if the Oklahoma State Cowboys were going to be the 49 team or the 256 team, and this is a 49 team. That year they won in Charlottesville, they had 5 guys in the top 15. They've got 4 in the top 12. I think that was Ryan Shoppy that came through in 30th. And in that place, the Pokes have put it down. Another phenomenal day for them. It's one of the fine Georgia runners, that group of 6. Half dozen good dogs, damn good dogs. who's coming across. Quick note about Iona. How about that, coming from unranked to qualify for this team.
And I think we just saw Masando there finish for Iowa State.
And you got to shake your head again if you're Sudbury and the Cloneys. You know, how do we lose another guy like that?
I think they got to get a witch doctor out there or something. They got some kind of curse on them.
Or just, God, maybe paint a line up there. Guys, watch out for this one. New Mexico, Gossen's team. Fifth man in 42nd. Looks like they're going to take second place regardless. They are the struggle.
That's Robin Kipkemboy there.
Wow.
We thought he could potentially be an All-American, and he certainly went for it today.
Yeah, and he can run. He can almost an 800 guy. And to fight that, and that is the effort that these guys have given. For all the Cowboys that ran fast at the top, there shows you the struggle of. And they got to go shepherd him back where he is, right? You just wander off when you're in that case. So much effort by those guys. Habtom Samuel, terrific performance. Oklahoma State, terrific performance.
And we weren't able to probably give it the, so much going on. We weren't able to give it the time it maybe deserved, but a big battle for the podium between Syracuse and Oregon. And it looks like Syracuse's pack triumphed over Oregon's low stick in Legel.
So there you go. The hugs amongst the orange as the Cowboys come through. Oh, the best day of racing is finished, and there is the move. We were on it as Habtom Samuel. There'll be no more of this. There'll be no more second places either. Went hard with about 1,500 to go. Rocky Hansen, boy, he hung on as hard as he could, just couldn't close that gap. And Samuel, after consecutive runner-up finishes to Grand Blancs, is the man and the winner. There he is, 28:33. That's a strong run. Hansen, Kipchoge, Masao, look at that. Cowboy. Gary Martin into the top 10. And Collins, Kiprotich, and then their first Oregon Duck, Legel, in 9th place. But we are concerning ourselves right now with the winner, and that is Chris Derrick with Habtom Samuel. Chris?
Habtom, second at this race 2 years in a row. How does it feel to get the win?
Oh yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. After these past 2 years, I just finished runner-up. I was like, keep working hard. I didn't ever give up, just fighting. So I feel even like really good the whole day, just like being patient with the group, and like I just get a move, like a big move, and yeah, that's all.
Now your coach talked about you potentially trying to push the pace early. You didn't. You kind of let everyone hang around for a while there. Can you talk through the strategy?
Yeah, like we took the strategy, but I tell them I'm going to surprise you for my coach. So I'm not going to go to the front. I'll just surprise, because I was really confident about my performance. I said, like, okay, the pace was good. At the front group, the guys were running very fast. I don't need to come to the front. Just being patient, like, get the big move, and I did it.
Habtom, John Anderson here in the booth. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much, John.
I want to know
so much.
I want to know how it is that you kept going after you have falls, and the regional last year you get knocked down, and you have what happened, you run in one shoe last year. Like, how did you continue to just keep the positive attitude and press on?
Yeah, just being myself, and always just keep looking for another opportunity. That's really like from last year. Those are past, so I'm just being at this moment and just keep focusing, like fight till the finish line.
Habtom, you made us a little nervous, or at least me. I was waiting for you to make that move, but coming into the meet, you seemed a little more serious about this one. Was this different than last year?
Yeah, I think so. It's different. The thing that make it different, like the course was really amazing, good course, and like at the front, the leaders they run very fast. So I don't need to just come to the front. That's why I just keep being patient, and like by the time I got to the front, I just like say to my mind, I'm gonna break the group and like just go all the way, not like go to the front and come back to the group. Just if I was thinking like going to the front, that's it. Just finish the rest. So that's my plan, and I did it. I'm so happy. It just really means a lot to me, and yeah, my first NCAA title after this was amazing.
Hey,
Habtom, welcome to the family of NCAA cross-country champions. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is so amazing. Thank you for all of you guys here today. Thank you for the support, for cheering us, and yeah, it was an amazing moment for me and for my team.
I don't know if you got to look behind you, by the way. Your teammates did the job. Second overall, the highest finish ever by New Mexico. If you could, tell me about those other 4 guys, the other 6, but the 4 that scored behind you.
Yeah, we have really a deep team, and we just keep working together every time, and I know we're gonna surprise everyone. You know, we ranked number 3, but I know those guys, we just training every day, and like I didn't even surprise. I was even expected like to win the rest, but I don't know, our fifth guy a little bit behind. But I'm really proud of the team. We did really amazing group, as a team. So I'm really proud of that group.
Habtom, amazing day for you, amazing day for New Mexico. Congratulations.
You know what they say down there in Albuquerque? Turquoise, tradition of champions.
Oh,
and there's Habtom Samuel flying home with the victory. Back to wrap things up with a trophy presentation next to Oklahoma State.